I was lucky enough that when J.J. Abrams was making the new Star Wars film, he came home with a little break and he said, hey, I have this new droid called BB-8 and I want him to have like personality, like, you know, everybody loves R2-D2, but he's like, I want to put him in situations where he can feel warmth and he could be funny and he could all these things, because he had these big scenes with Rey, and now I can talk about it finally, all these big scenes with like Daisy Ridley's character and John Boyega's character. And so the process was at the beginning, we wrote real dialogue for him. So there's recordings of me over scenes. J.J. Abrams would show me scenes, and I would say real dialogue as BB-8 in response to whatever Rey or people were saying. And then the goal was to give that to Lucasfilms, and they would turn them into beeps and boops. And so they tried it, and when it came back, I feel like it felt like, if you could feel like it was like a human being being turned into beeps and boops. So then they gave me a synthesizer, and this great sound guy named Robbie Stambler, and when we were in the room together for hours, I would call us the Beautiful Boys, because we both look terrible. No, he's a great guy. But Robbie Stambler, amazing sound guy, and we did this thing where I would take this thing that was hooked, a microphone that was hooked into a computer, and I'd literally try to do the beeps and boops. First we tried it with words, didn't work, then I tried to do the beeps and boops. And in the end, we did a bunch of scenes, and I was very fortunate, got to see the movie beforehand and all this stuff and really work with stuff. I don't know how much of those are in it, but I was told by the editors that all the dialogue that I did for the film was used while they edited. So like if Rey is having, Daisy Ridley's character is having a scene with BB-8, they would edit with my dialogue in there to help know when to cut to and back and go to the wide and stuff like that. And I was so excited because I don't know how much % of my actual voice is in there. Hopefully there is some, but I don't know. But I know that all the editors were so kind to me in saying that it really helped with the way they edit and the cadence. And so I think in the end, JJ took an iPad app and literally did the whole thing off an iPad app. But maybe listened to my voice and worked with the cadence of that. But one of the most exciting, I got to go to the Star Wars premiere. Are you kidding me? I took my friend Gil Ozeri, one of the biggest Star Wars fans, and it was bananas. It was crazy. I remember when we were in the lobby of the Star Wars premiere, everybody that was coming in was the most famous person I've ever seen in my entire life. And Gil and I were like eating popcorn like two Mr. Beans, just like looking at people like, it was just very exciting. And then to go and give JJ a big hug afterwards, because I was fortunate enough to be around when he was doing all of the movie, and it was just such a big, it crossed $2 billion yesterday. It's bananas. I'm very proud of him, and I think that movie is so lovely, and I just feel like it feels like Star Wars, which is exciting.